Double A Bears podcast with your hosts, Anthony Rinaldi and Andrew Romanelli.
Do this look like work?
The show starts now.
Everyone tonight is here. All of this for me. Hands in the air, yeah. All of this for me. Bottles over here. All of this for me. All of this for me.
Hello. This is Double A Balls. I'm your host, Andrew Romanello, alongside my partner, Anthony Rinaldi, and I am excited, ready. This is episode number 2. We thought we were going to have a little bit better production value, but we're back. We're better than ever, and I'm ready to go.
Andrew, how are you? Living the dream again with Andrew Romanella, day 2 of the podcast. We're trying some things out, so please bear in mind it's a work in progress, but we love everything about this. And I want to tell you, Andrew, did you watch any of that football this weekend?
So, listen, Ant. So we had our first practice of the year, which was exciting. See, for me, I'm okay missing the football if I get to go to baseball practice.
Practice?
Practice. We're talking about practice. Not a game. Practice. But I didn't get to see that much football. I saw the second half of the Eagles game, and I understood what was going on throughout the Patriots game.
Well, you didn't miss much in the Eagle game, I can tell you that much. That was terrible to watch. Shout out Sean O'Neal.
Amped right now. But give me your side of the tape on what's going on up in New England and how they've gone to 7 straight AFC Championship games and they've won 3 of the last 4 and potentially are putting more rings on Tom Brady's finger.
Well, you want to talk about New England, or I mean, did the refs help a little bit there? I know you really weren't fully engaged. You know, I watched most of this game with my in-laws right before Sunday dinner. You know, a little pasta, a little meatballs, typical Italian Sunday. You know, a little bit of wine,
Probably a lot of bread,
some garlic bread. You know, but I mean, when it was 20 to 10, I told them there's no way the NFL is going to allow Tom Brady and the New England Patriots to lose. Excuse me, I'm getting over a little cold. The voice actually sounds a lot better, although the hoarse voice was probably a lot sexier.
I did.
And better on the radio.
I liked it.
Well, listen.
Let me prove your point. Penalties yesterday for New England. 1 for 10 yards. For the Jacksonville Jaguars, 6 for 98 yards. Now, I did get to see some highlights. I did get to see what happened, the Gronk penalty. I did get to see the penalty on A.J. Boye going out of bounds, the pass interference, and on the subsequently next play. I did get to see those, and
At that point,
50-50.
it was 14-3, I believe, when Gronk.
Now, was that the third quarter?
No, that was first half.
That was right at
the end of the first half,
okay.
Because Gronk went to the locker room early, and he was on Queer Street. He had no idea where he was. He thought he was partying.
Yeah, I saw that. Helmet to helmet, got it in the head a little bit. Didn't look good going back to the locker room.
You know, you got to appreciate New England, at least on this respect, that they didn't put him back in the game because they needed him. You know, I mean, losing Gronk is probably like the only other person besides losing Brady who you're really going to fear could cost you the game. But luckily or smartly, they kept him out and kept him in the locker room for the rest of the game because he definitely was concussed.
4 straight comeback victories from double digits in the playoffs for Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and the New England Patriots.
Dynasty.
How does that happen? I mean, listen, I understand culture, and last time we were together, you talked about Tom Coughlin and the culture he created in New York. And shout out to the Jacksonville Jaguars, Tom Coughlin, Doug Marrone, and that team for even going up there, having a lead, and battling in that game. I mean, going up there and being able to do that, yeah, is there a bad taste in your mouth because you don't finish it off? You have the Patriots on the ropes at home in the AFC Championship game, 100%. But the bottom line is you went in there with a young team, a team that you're hoping for the next 5-6 years is in the Super Bowl window, and you went up there and you battled. But in the end, it doesn't matter who they're playing, the New England Patriots find a way to win. How?
Well, listen, Jacksonville, they stopped almost playing on offense. That second half, I mean, they had a lead going into halftime, but you got to know, 20 points, only scoring 20 points in Gillette Stadium, that's not a recipe for a victory.
So as a person watching the game, feeling the emotion, the ebbs and flows, watching how both teams are going, did you feel in the second half the Jacksonville Jaguars played not to lose as opposed to playing to win?
Correct, 100%. They played not to lose. They had a 4-point lead going into the half. You know, they kind of sat on the ball a little bit, tried to run the ball with Fournette, I think he put up a few yards. But
Yeah, Fournette had a good day. 24 carries, 74 yards, and a TD. I mean, for a rookie, first AFC Championship game, again, against the New England Patriots, when they're going to look at it, and history tells you that the New England Patriots take away the best thing that you do. If you're a great running team, their game plan's you're going to beat them passing game and probably on special teams. If you're a great passing team, you're a great play action team, they're going to find a way to take away your best facet, your best player, the best thing you do. And I would probably make the argument Leonard Fournette is the best offensive player for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And for them to be able to have him get 74 yards and a TD, I think you've done everything you needed them to do. Now, Blake Bortles, on the other hand, I think did everything he needed to do. 23, a 36, 293, and a TD. I don't think that's a bad day for a guy that a lot of people have been talking about is probably the biggest issue with this offense.
who's he throwing the ball to?
That's the question. Allen Hurns.
Allen Robinson went down with that injury early. I mean, he kind of had a subpar year last year, too.
Marquise Lee.
Get some playmakers. I mean, I think he's going to stay in Jacksonville. They'll probably end up paying him maybe not the 19 or 20 million he was hoping for, but going right for a quarterback who's pretty much, he's somewhat mobile. You saw that in the Buffalo game. Set back football probably back to 1965.
How do you have 88 rushing yards, 87 passing yards? That's unbelievable. In the modern era of football, in modern day NFL, for a quarterback to win a playoff game with one more running yard than throwing yard, and that's impressive. That's impressive. Yes, it speaks to your defense. It speaks to all those things. But that's impressive. And the Jaguars did that. And then they went into New England, and they threw a few right hooks. They landed a few punches. They threw an uppercut in there, got a few gut shots in. They hit the Patriots everywhere they possibly could. But in the end, Mr. Brady and the boys come out victorious.
The Brady bunch.
Unbelievable.
I didn't see. I saw most of the game, but I didn't recall Tom Brady ever being on his back.
No.
And with that Saxonville defense,
3 sacks.
3 sacks.
I think that's moderate for that defense.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're...
Some of those sacks might have been just Tom Brady taking it because that was the best play.
Yes.
Tom Brady's known for that. He's not going to do an Eli Manning chuck and pray and turn the ball over. He's going to take the sack, eat it, go down easy, pop back up, and then beat you the next play.
Well, I heard a lot of guys talking in the last 24 hours about how the Patriots do a good job of playing the field position game. Bill Belichick's not going to go for 4th and 1 on the 50-yard line, regardless of how good his offense is. If he looks at Blake Bortles and says, I know you can't consistently go 85 to 95 yards downfield to score touchdowns. You might get a few field goals in here. You might get 1 touchdown, and that's exactly what happened. Bortles had 1, Fournette had 1, and that was it. So they got 20 points. And to the New England Patriots, no matter how good your defense is, it doesn't matter. They believe they can put up more than 20 points to win a football game. And even though it's not a good first half, what feels like ever recently for the New England Patriots still ends up in a win. And I don't care how much you hate them. You're a resident Giants fan. You definitely hate them. I'm a resident Dolphins fan. I extremely hate them. The only year we've won a title is when Tom Brady tore his ACL. That's another story. But
they're still 11-5.
But you have to respect it, and you have to respect it.
Listen, I have none but utter respect for the New England Patriots. Me being a Giants fan, we beat them twice. We're the only kryptonite in there. I mean, they'd have 8 rings? They'd have 7 for sure, and going in for their 8th in 2 weeks. But I mean, they just know how to win, and they're probably going to lose both coordinators. OC and the DC.
That's crazy.
Patricia's already basically locked up the line job.
Hey, are you a good organization when both your offensive and defensive coordinators see you? Think about it. It's the same thing that happens with Nick Saban. Teams that win, and that's what's the most impressive thing. You're losing coordinators every year. I think Nick Saban's had 4 offensive coordinators in 3 years. He had 2 in 1 championship season. I mean, that's insane. That's insane. And on top of it all, it's like the icing on the cake. Off the heels of the biggest comeback, the largest comeback in Super Bowl history. That's what's impressive. Now to the other side, to Philadelphia, right? You saw a completely different game.
Steamrolled.
For as much fun as watching the Patriots-Jacksonville game was, from a football standpoint, was as almost painful, if you're not a Philadelphia fan, was watching the Eagles versus the Vikings.
Oh man, those Philly fans are brutal.
Now listen,
They probably love this.
good for them, though. I mean, good for them. Good for Nick Foles. That's fine. I'm not that happy about the Jay Ajayi thing, but if that's for the betterment of our organization,
because he left Miami, you swallow that bitter pill. You moved on.
he's not what he got. I chose him for what he got.
Come on, you got Kenyon Drake. You're looking good in Miami, you know. Whatever.
No, I'm excited.
You're going to draft Baker Mayfield. You're going to wreck the league, Johnny Manziel style. But Philadelphia, going back to Philadelphia, I'm on a group chat with a bunch of my knucklehead fraternity brothers. Again, shout out Penn State. We are
Penn State.
And it's a bunch of actually Giant fans and a few Steeler fans. I think one Eagle fan that's kind of adopted because his woman is an Eagle fan, so he kind of just jumped on board. He didn't really have a squad, so he's like, you know what, I'll just rock with the Eagles. So we're talking
Fly, Eagles, fly.
We're talking smack the whole all game. You know, they're the bitter Steeler fan is saying how easy the Philadelphia schedule is, blah blah it is. And the Giant fans are so angry that no way, we can't let the Eagles win. And I'm like, screw it. I started going the other way. I was like, fuck it, like let the Eagles win. I mean, hell, you know, I got that bet on them. Let's go, let's go Eagles. Give me that green. I want
a little bit of money.
That's money. And they're just like, what are you talking about, Ronaldo? You're a diehard Giants fan. We hate the Eagles. And I was like, they never tasted a championship.
Right.
They were there.
And you have
Who did they play in 2005?
Oh, that might have been the New England Patriots.
Oh, weird.
Super Bowl 39.
And that was the last team to go back-to-back championships, right?
It was.
4-05.
Yes.
Patriots.
There you go.
They beat the Eagles in 05.
Yeah, but then the next Super Bowl the Patriots went to was in 07. And if my memory serves me correct, was that Eli Manning and the boys?
It was.
It was Tom Coughlin, Eli Manning, David Tyree's helmet, and the boys.
Bubblegum.
And that's awesome. But back on track, right? 31-point victory, largest in Eagles history in the playoffs. Nick Foles, fantastic day. 26 of 33. 352 and 3 TDs. Nick Foles found himself on the ground one time the whole game to what was the number 1 ranked defense in the NFL.
It looked to me like they didn't even come out in the second half. They stayed in the locker room.
I think that was what was most disappointing because, listen, it was 24-7. I don't know if your offense is as high-powered enough to come back, and Philly's got a good defense. That's a good defense there in Philadelphia. I don't think the Minnesota Vikings and Case Keenum are high-powered enough to come back from that, but it didn't even feel like they were trying to come back from that. It felt like they walked back on that field and said, man, it is disappointing we're not going to the Super Bowl, when they could have done something that no one's ever done in the history of the NFL.
I'm going to shout out the Philly crowd too. I'm sure that place was absolutely insane from an atmosphere standpoint, and it looked like they just took the heart and soul out of Minnesota out of that first half. And like I said, they didn't show up in the locker. They stayed in the locker room.
They
must have had a hell of a spread. Maybe some of those sliders with the little onions on there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Maybe a little melted cheese on top of it.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Monterey Jack.
Yeah. Ooh.
But I'm telling you, 38-7. I mean, Eagles. Nick Foles.
Listen to this. Nick Foles' QBR in that game is a 95.8 out of 100. Okay? I gave you his stat line already, but how about this? He did something that only another guy in the NFL has ever done in the history of quarterback. And that other guy is Joe Montana.
Did you say Joe Montana?
Joe Montana. And Nick Foles have only done one thing together in NFL history. You know what that is? 2 straight games in the playoffs with a 75% completion rating or better.
Wow.
When Carson Wentz tore his ACL, everyone said their season was over.
Right. No, actually, I put that bet in literally the week before he got hurt. So
Did you?
Yeah.
So
Back in November, I was like,
you were still Eagles through.
Yeah. I mean, but what does that say about Carson Wentz? I mean, yeah, they would probably, that game would probably be the spread I'm talking about in 2 weeks for Super Bowl, because I know it's out already in some places. I'm going to say it would probably be closer to maybe a 2-point, maybe New England -3 because it's neutral field.
Well, right now, the first spread that came out today, and obviously we're, 13, 14 days away from this game anyways, but first spread that came out was New England 5.5. 5.5. That's where it started.
So
I'm
going to say it now, New England 29, Eagles 24.
Okay.
Because Vegas is that sharp and ridiculous. I'm just going to call it now.
Right. Okay. 29,
Mark it
24.
down.
I'm right.
January
All right.
22nd,
Note taken.
2018, Monday. Purple Squad, shout out, 7:30, Lincoln School.
Need it today. Need it tonight. Hopefully when we come back in a week, we have had a victory.
Ooh, playing the Red Squad. That's
Tough out there. Perp Squad. But that's it. Right. And that's it. And that's the bottom line with the Philadelphia Eagles. They came out at home. And no game, I think, no team needed home field advantage in the playoffs more than the New England Patriots and the Philadelphia Eagles this year. Because let's be honest, and you give the Patriots all the credit in the world, but if they don't get home field advantage, I don't think they're playing in Jacksonville. But let's just say for some reason they don't get to play the conference championship game at home. They have to play it on the road. I don't think they're as good of a team, and I don't think they come back if they're down 14-3 or 20-10, where they are, when they are, with the things that happen in that game.
I agree 100%. And like I was talking about with the Philly crowd, they took it right to Minnesota right out the gate. After that first drive, Minnesota was up 7-0, but Keenum threw that pick. Dude takes it back to the house, 7-7, different ball game. Crowd gets back into it, game over basically. I don't want to say it was that early in the game because obviously 7-7, who knows? But it looked like game was over right from then and there. And then New England always has that Gillette Stadium home crowd, that New England clam chowder.
You said something to me last week, okay? And I want to shift gear here real fast. You said something to me last week about the Philadelphia Eagles and Pat Shurmur potentially being the head coach of the New York Giants. You said, I want to see what his game plan is against the Eagles because he's going to have to play them twice a year. Clearly, it was not very good. Does that scare you?
Shout out Pat Shurmur was the old coordinator for the Eagles.
Yep.
When Nick Foles went on that tear to take him 2015.
Nick Foles was the Pro Bowler that year.
Pro Bowler, right?
He had 2 interceptions. Threw 2 interceptions that year.
I don't know what to get. I mean, obviously the game plan didn't work for Minnesota. I like this. They have. The Eagles shut down Thielen, shut down Diggs. He didn't do much. Rudolph. He did a little bit. The Giants don't have a tight end to worry about. I mean,
really.
Ingram's all right, but he's really more of a slot receiver. But
and they picked off Case Keenum twice.
Case Keenum ain't no Eli Manning.
So does that close the book on the Case Keenum thing? Because don't get me wrong, he did a great job in the regular season. He found a way in the divisional round of the playoffs to get them a victory, no matter what had to happen for it to happen.
You mean play heaven?
He gets you
heaven.
Play heaven.
Chuck it up to Diggs.
Chuck it up to heaven.
And that dude gets RKO'd and then takes off for the sideline.
Straight to the house.
So you knew Minnesota didn't deserve to be there.
Okay, but this is my question now. Case Keenum, is that part of the script on him? Hey, we kind of saw his true colors here. Because even though he can get us there, he can get us to the playoffs, he can manage the game enough, he probably can't go out and win us a playoff game.
Romo-esque?
Yes. Maybe a little bit.
Hating on the
Cowboys. Oh, was that just a little bit?
Man.
Spurs.
See, everybody hates the Philly. I hate the Cowboys.
Yeah, well,
for some reason they irk me.
I hear this a lot. When I listen to Dave Rothenberg, he talks about that all the time. How much he hates the Cowboys. Why is that? Why?
I don't know.
Is that because they won so much in their past?
Won so much? Yeah, in the 90s. I was 5 in the 90s. Come on now. No, my dad, shout out Angelo Rinaldi, Hawthorne Glass, he's a huge Cowboy fan.
First sponsor.
He's a huge Cowboy fan. So like how do you not go with your father? Like how does I don't know how we broke that dynamic. How I became a Giants fan.
You're talking to a guy whose entire family, man, is Giants fans.
I do know your family.
16. It's like if you counted them all up, the number would be astronomical. We had a Super Bowl party. I think it was in 2007. We had I can't tell you how many people were there. And just from our family and everybody in Giants gear. And I'm just the guy. I'm just there. Just the guy, just hanging out. Just not, no.
Tell me you're running your Marino jersey.
No, no, I'm not that guy. I refuse to be that guy. Well, I will never, ever. Anthony, there's not many things I dislike in my life. It's simple, small things that please me. One thing that I despise, and my brother will agree with me on this till the day he dies, okay?
Die hard Giants.
Don't ever wear, if there's two teams playing in a sports contest, don't ever wear a uniform of not one of the teams playing. Ever. What are you doing? If you're at a Giants-Eagles game, do not wear a Cowboys jersey. I want to slap you. What? Come on. Don't be that guy.
Somebody write this down. Rule 477. Don't be that guy who wears the different team's jersey to an event.
That's it. No, please. That is probably the one thing above a lot of things that bothers me. We went to the Winter Classic this year. Rangers were playing the Sabres. I'm not a fan of either of them. I'm a Devils fan. Mm-hmm. So really, I would like both of them to lose somehow or end in a tie, which isn't possible in hockey regular season. But I'm not going to go there and wear a Devils sweatshirt and a Devils hat. We're at Citi Field. I'm going to wear some Mets stuff, which I did. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Cross sports. I'm cool with that. That's fine. If you're at the Knicks game and you want to have a Rangers jersey on, why not? You're cool. That's cool. I'm fine with that. But if you're watching the Knicks versus the Celtics and you're wearing a Steph Curry jersey, you should get it removed and burned in front of you. Because I just think that's the dumbest thing ever. It makes no sense. Makes no sense.
Some guys just want to fit in.
Right.
That's all they got. They got one jersey that they wear all the time.
And you know what? And sticking to that, right? Sticking to the NBA. We're close to the trade deadline, right? Now, your New York Knickerbockers are probably in no place to be trading anybody right now. But something interesting just happened. Kemba Walker is now apparently being shopped around by the Hornets. Is Kemba Walker a guy you want at the point of the New York Knicks? You want Frank Ntilikina moving forward? Or do you want to see if you can get like a Damian Lillard type once free agency comes around?
That's a great question. The Knickerbockers frustrate me all the time. I don't know what it seems like they're going in the right direction now with Scott Perry and Mills. Thank God we got rid of all that nonsense with Phil Jackson and the triangle offense. It seems like we're headed in the right direction. Again, Phil Jackson picked Frank Ntilikina, so it's
which is so dumb. Let him pick it, and then we're gonna fire him like 7 days later.
That's
what are you doing?
That's the way the organizations run.
The Knickerbockers.
Like my grandfather always told me, my no-no, a fish stinks from the head down. Jim Dolan, you stink. And the whole organization stinks.
That is wise words.
Somehow the Rangers are always a decent team. They're always in the playoffs at least. I'm not a hockey aficionado like a Rocky Romanella.
Like a Rocky Romanella. They're good every year.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm told. They're good every year during the playoffs. They haven't won since '94. That's the last time the Knicks were good.
But they've been to Stanley Cup. Mm-hmm. They've been to conference championships. They've had one of the best goalies in NHL history, probably. At least a top 5, top 10 goaltender in NHL history in Henrik Lundqvist. So you're not wrong there, and I don't get it, and you're right. It's Madison Square Garden. It's the same owner. Why does one fall? Why does apple fall on the root for one and apple fall really far from the tree on the other?
Watching the Knicks the last 20 years, I can't tell you. I go back to the heyday with the Ewings and rest in peace, Anthony Mason. The Oak Man, who's no longer allowed even in the building because he's all drunk, yelling at Dolan, trying to get a job. I think he wanted a job. Who the hell knows? But again, the organization. I think he tried to meddle too much. He thought getting Phil Jackson in here was a wise decision, and
I don't think it was wrong though because the fans agreed. You agreed. I probably agreed, not as a Knicks fan, but as a New York sports radio listener on a consistent day-to-day basis and hearing about the Knicks every day. I agreed. You agreed. We all agreed. Phil Jackson, at the time, it was a good decision. It was a good name to get in the building. It got the fans excited. It got people excited. They wanted to listen. They wanted to come in and they wanted to hear what was about to happen to the Knicks. They were changing the Garden over. They had just done a remodel of the Garden. Things were looking up. And then all of a sudden, Phil Jackson comes in and just steals money from the Knicks. And then puts the franchise back 4 years to now we're at the point where I'll give him credit on Kristaps Porzingis. Now, is Kristaps Porzingis a superstar? That's debatable. in my mind.
He's young.
I don't think
Young.
right.
Young.
And people forget, it's his third year in the league, but the dude, what is he, 21 years old? He's now legally allowed to drink in the United States.
Yeah, but he was slugging back beers in Latvia
yeah.
like it's going out of style.
That's another conversation. But I think the underlying message is he's still very young, 3 years in. So to the original question, back to the point, you need a point guard. Kemba Walker, does it do it for you? Do you want something else? What do you feel they need to do?
That's the hometown kid right there, Kemba. Remember, he rocked the guard in that crossover.
Shout out UConn Huskies.
Man, that was my safety school.
Yeah.
I totally went to the UConn.
All right.
But once I heard from Penn State, I was like,
We are.
That was it, Penn State. I wasn't really sure, watching Ntilikina, I mean, yeah, he's 19. There's so much growth. And everything you hear about when the players talk about him, I mean, Russell Westbrook was raving about him and his defense and how long he is.
And that's why the Knicks love him, because their defense is terrible.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And, I mean, you have to give him and Kristaps time to grow. Kemba's still young, too. Kemba's only 26, maybe 27.
27.
27.
I heard it the other day,
Okay.
27.
So, yeah, he's still in the prime of his career. What do you got to give up to get him, though? Are we giving up draft picks?
But that's my question. Is it Ntilikina that goes? I'm guessing. Here's my guess.
Yes, because Charlotte's going to want somebody. They're going to want players. They're going to want draft picks.
If I'm the Knicks, okay, if I'm the Knicks, I try and package like Jared Jack, a second-round pick for Kemba Walker.
You got to throw in Joakim Noah's contract.
There you go, or
It's just
something.
terrible, man.
Something.
Thanks, Phil Jackson. $78 million for 4 years.
It's going to be two players. You got to give him a point guard back. Try and give him Jared Jack back. Obviously, you want to get rid of Joakim Noah, but you don't know if anyone really wants to take that back. Does Michael Jordan and the gang over there in Charlotte, do they want to do that? Probably not. So I'm thinking you're gonna need to send, if you don't want to get rid of Ntilikina, which I don't know if it's possible in this deal. I think unless you get a free agent or draft another, I think Ntilikina stays or he goes in a trade for another good point guard. I don't think there's any way you can keep him.
Right. I think
nothing else is good enough to trade.
And as what I've seen the last decade with the Knicks, at this point, the big names are out there. Like I would have loved to have gotten Kyrie, but at this point, let's just keep Ntilikina. Give me 2-3 years, and get another star in there. I don't think Courtney Lee's going to be here long. I think him and O'Quinn are going to go at the trade deadline. I think some teams who are in the hunt, like the Cavaliers, they could use some help. I heard Anthony Davis.
Let's go Thunder dropping 149 on the Cavs the other night.
A lot of defense in the NBA.
Let's go.
A lot of
the
defense.
regular season's kind of a joke. It's a little bit of a joke. Not all the time. It's a little bit of a joke, though.
Right. I mean, basically the 8 teams I feel like in the East. I guess at least the top 4 in the East are going to be what they are: Celtics, Cavaliers, Raptors. Maybe throw in
Washington
or Miami.
Yes, and
they're hot right now.
And that's 1 through 5 right now.
Right. And 6, 7, 8 is maybe a game or two difference. In the West, we're a little more. I think same thing. We're a little congested, but the top 4 teams. You got Golden State. You got the Rockets. I'm sure San Antonio's up there. Who else is up there in the West?
OKC's 5, Minnesota's 4.
Minnesota, that's right.
I mean, and you're right. Tom Thibodeau, all the guys up there. Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler having a good year right now. All right, but here's your stat line on your boy Ntilikina. Okay, nearly about 21 minutes a game. Okay, nearly 21 minutes a game. 35 from the field, 32% from beyond the arc, 71% at the line. He's averaging 3.5 assists per game. He's going about 5.5 points per game. He's turning the ball over about 2 times a game. That's not terrible. And he's getting about a little bit over 1 swipe a game in terms of the defensive side and about 2.5 rebounds. Now, you're not looking at it as a rebounding guy, so that number doesn't bother you. The turnovers, you can handle 2 a game. I think that's a good number. Steals, obviously, are going to keep getting better because he's so good defensively. But there's no way to hide it. The numbers offensively, points, field goal percentage, 3-point, and even free throw percentage are nothing to really look at. But again, he's 19.
That's it. I mean, he's a rook. I didn't expect much coming from, he played in the European League, which gets you a little more seasoned to the NBA body type. But I mean, he's 19. I don't need him to score. I mean, I guess we do need scoring. Kristaps can't do it himself. When when Timmy Hardaway was out, they were a one-man show, just dumping to Porzingis and chuck and pray. And that's not a good offense. That's going back to what we had Melo, ISO ball. It's never
gotta
good.
move the basketball. You need a facilitator. He can be a scoring point guard. I watched Chris Paul put up 30 plus on the Golden State Warriors, but he also had 9 assists. You can do it. Russell Westbrook averages 9.5 assists a game, but he also averages 22 points a game. It's possible. Now, Russell's a little bit different. He is a ball-dominant point guard. That's a whole different conversation in its own right. But the point being, you can be a scoring point guard, but in the end, you need to be able to facilitate the basketball. And if you can't get me over 5 assists a game as a point guard in the NBA, to me, you're doing my offense a disservice. I need you to get the ball across the half court. I need you to move. I need you to be able to run a little bit, but I need you to be able to slow it down. I need you to be able to understand how to move, how to create your own shot so you can take that and build more opportunities for shooters on the outside. That's today's NBA right now, and the Knicks don't have that. And I don't not like Jared Jack. I think Jared Jack's a good point guard. I think he's serving the Knicks the right way right now. He's teaching Ntilikina. He's that veteran presence. He's a solid dude. He's going to run your offense the right way. But he's not pushing the tempo for the Knicks right now. And that's why it's easy to guard Porzingis. And hey, yeah, sure, I'll take away Kristaps all day. Sure, Michael Beasley can get 27. I don't care. And Kristaps can even get 22. What do I care? Because where's the rest of it coming from? And if Jared Jack can't create and Frank Ntilikina can't create, there's nothing else you can do in that offense to create.
NBA's simple. Pick and roll basketball.
That's it.
The Knicks don't have a facilitating point guard. Jared Jack is a good backup point guard. He shouldn't be your starter. He shouldn't be getting all this burn at the end of games. Ntilikina does for defensively because, he's 6'5", he has those long arms. He can get in the passing lane. But you're 100% right when you talk about their offense. It's they hardly run any kind of pick and roll. And Jared Jack or Ntilikina, when they do pass the ball, the guys just aren't knocking down shots. We don't have knockdown shooters like
No,
Golden
you don't.
State.
And you're right. You're 100% right. And that's unfair to hold against the Knicks. It's not the players' fault. They're who they are. It's not the coaching staff's fault. They get who they get. And it's not necessarily management's fault in its own right because Phil Jackson was the guy leading that charge for the last 3+ years.
But Scott Perry, who's the general manager now,
was there as Phil Jackson's assistant GM, so it's not like he wasn't necessarily totally against everything Phil Jackson was doing. I see he came in with a different mindset, but I think in the end, the franchise is just in a bad place with its talent level, and that is why I think Kemba Walker is a good option. I think Kemba Walker is a guy that you want to get if you were the Knicks, but you have the option of waiting for free agency. A dude like Damian Lillard, who's not getting his burn in Portland. The disrespect that Damian Lillard gets, and I'm not going to go into that, but the disrespect that Damian Lillard gets is absurd in the NBA. And the last thing, right, because we got Whataya Got coming up.
Whataya Got.
Shout out Hawthorne Glass in a few minutes. Double A Balls, Instagram and or Twitter and or both. Facebook possibly as well should be coming at you in the next week or so. Again, we're working through this thing. I think Ann said it at the beginning of the show, and I want to reiterate it. We're working through this thing. We hope you like it. We need your feedback. So tweet at us.
Social media blitz.
Hit me, Coach Romo24 on Twitter and ARomes24 on Instagram.
I am on Twitter at AMRinaldi5 and AMRinaldi on the IG.
Tweet it, comment it, DM us, slide in those DMs, whatever you want to do. Hit us on the social media. And the last thing here, let's finish it off. All right, let's finish off this NBA because we're about to go to the All-Star break. It's been a pretty good season. Both Golden State and Cleveland look very vulnerable to this point. Maybe not very on the Golden State side, but slightly vulnerable to a degree. But everything everyone's talking about, though, not the teams, not the players, none of that stuff, but the players versus the referees. The way the referees have been calling these games. And there's going to be a conversation between the refs and the players supposedly at the All-Star break. I think it's a pretty good idea, but I just want to get your thoughts, how ridiculous it has gotten from both sides of the fence.
I mean, to me it sounds like in both sports, the referee in football.
Oh, yeah.
That's all we talk about is the refs,
100%.
the flags. In basketball, the refs teeing up everybody,
You're waiting for a
out,
whistle. You're waiting to see a flag.
throwing out, all-star NBA players out of games for
Right.
teeing up somebody late in a game.
LeBron got
Courtney
kicked.
Lee got a late tee in the game. They're down 3, and all of a sudden they go to the free throw
That was
line.
unnecessary. I saw that. That was ridiculous. LeBron James got kicked out of the first game of his career this year. Russell Westbrook's been ejected.
Durant.
Steph Curry, Durant, Anthony Davis, the unibrow. Anthony Davis has been ejected. These guys, there's no need. And listen, I agree to an extent. There's probably some disrespect on the way that some of these NBA guys are going about the way they speak with these referees, probably saying what they feel like they should say, they believe they can say, because they are these NBA players, these superstars, these guys that essentially run the league with their jersey sales, their individual play, their style, their shoes, the whole 9 yards, whatever it is. But there's two parts to this, in my opinion. We're talking about two separate conversations. We're talking about 20 different players in the league. We're not talking about the whole league. We're talking about 20 guys, max, maybe. Carmelo, I could probably list all 20 if I wanted to. But you're talking about the 5 guys we just spoke about. You're talking about Carmelo Anthony, Chris Paul, James Harden, Boogie Cousins. You're probably looking at maybe a guy like Kemba Walker, Jimmy Butler in that conversation. Dwayne Wade just because he's Dwayne Wade. Probably J.R. Smith just because he's J.R. Smith. But that's who you're talking about. Draymond Green. Seriously, though. These are the 15 to 20 guys that we're talking about. So that's the first side of the fence. So we're really not talking about the players and the referees. We're talking the superstars and the elite athletes and the referees. And then the second side of the conversation is, in the end, bottom line, all officials in every major sport and trickle-down effect have gotten soft in the last few years, and they can't handle anything. Listen, it's okay. I can disagree with your call. And listen, if I go about it in a disrespectful manner, then that's a different conversation. But you as the official can't go into it just going, oh, I'm automatically mad at this guy. Well, I might have a good point.
It's all about age. You hit it on the head. Even the referees in basketball, I hear it's the 2 and 3 year refs. A lot of the older refs, the vets, the Tony Crawfords, they're gone. They retired. They took all that. They're old school. That old school mentality. They understood the frustrations of the player, and they let them vent a little bit. And obviously, if they got a little out of control, they teed up Rasheed Wallace style. But nowadays, if you look at somebody wrong,
it's a problem.
It's
an issue.
I want to say it's the age.
Right.
Do they want more airtime?
Respect.
Do they want to be seen?
It's that word respect. It's just you keep hearing it be thrown around. It's, I feel disrespected, or you need to respect me because I'm 25 years older than you. It doesn't mean that somebody younger than you or a younger person or an age that is significantly different than yours is not somebody that can't teach you something, that can't make you a better person, that can't find a way to help you out. Just because you're X amount of years older than them doesn't mean that and I think that's where it's gone to. The referees feel some type of way about how old they are. The players feel some type of way about how long they've been in the league. And other dudes feel some type of way about the fact that they feel like they're not getting any respect for either of those angles. And now everybody's fighting with everybody. They're mad at each other. And the refs are ready to tee quickly and throw dudes out of the game because they just don't want to hear it anymore. And the players are going into games. You better believe they're subconsciously going into games ready to get mad at officials in bad calls. You know it. You know that's going to happen.
That's it. Fallback. You know what? I missed a layup. I got fouled, clearly. It's like the men's league.
Right.
God forbid you miss a jump shot or something. I got
Right.
fouled. I got hit in the elbow.
Right.
Man, I would tee up everybody in that league.
And you know what, Ant?
You aggressive.
Speaking of that men's league, because we got Whataya Got coming up here in a few seconds. So we're going to get into the man that does the book for the Hawthorne's men's league. Yep, that's our guy, Angelo from Hawthorne Glass. And hey, guys, have you been looking to fix that broken tabletop or enhance that dull picture frame? Perhaps remodel that bathroom with an elegant and beautiful shower door. Are you tired of looking through old, dirty thermo panes, windows? How about that broken or torn screen? Don't wait for the warm weather to upgrade. Take care of it now and be ready for spring. Call Hawthorne Glass today at 973-427-4344 and schedule your home consultation with Angelo, who has 3+ decades of quality service in the glass industry. They don't call Angelo the best in the business for nothing, folks, and he is a great individual. And if you want that property upgrade and you need that quality service from Angelo that you can depend on. Call Hawthorne Glass at 973-427-4344 and schedule your appointment today. And when you call and you speak with Angelo or somebody else from the wonderful place of Hawthorne Glass, use promo code AABALL and receive 10% off your first purchase. So for the last time, Hawthorne Glass, our man Angelo, call 973-427-4344 to schedule your appointment today. And Ant, before we get into our last segment here, before we get into what do you got?
What do you got?
Ant, I want you to tell the people about the email address that they can email you at to get their advertisement on the AA Balls podcast.
Please do. We love all sorts of advertising. You can reach me or Andrew at contact, CONTACT, at AnthonyRinaldi.com. That's the name. Remember it. Write it down.
Contact it. That would make the most sense.
Get on the podcast.
Get on the podcast. Become an advertiser. And again, you can hit us on Twitter too. Tweet at us. You can Instagram us. And again, coming soon, the Twitter and the Instagram for AA Balls. Let's get into it. What do you got, Ant? I love it. It's my new favorite segment. And we're going to get started with the record board because we're 1 week in. And right now, we got a 1-1 split straight down the middle. So just to recap for the people at home, last week Anthony took Blake Bortles as his performer, and he picked the Minnesota versus Philly game.
I picked Nick Foles.
Yeah, that's funny. I got it on recording, man. And he picked Minnesota versus Philly as his game to watch, which ended up being a 31-point blowout.
Gross.
So that's where he gets the loss, but he gets the win because Andrew took Jay Ajayi, who didn't have a bad game, finished with 24 carries and 73 yards, but Blake Bortles, 293 and 1 TD and 23
Your boy
completions.
LeGarrette Blunt.
LeGarrette Blunt took the TD.
He snaked you.
Took the TD. Good 11-yard run, though. Shout out to LeGarrette Blunt. So, 1-1 for both of us. 1-0 in the player for Ant, 0-1 for Andrew, 0-1 on the flip side for the games. Let's get it started. We're going to go game to start today, Ant, and the question is easy. The game this week, what do you got? I got Golden State versus Celtics. Let's keep it on the hardwood because ain't nobody watching the Pro Bowl, let's be honest. And I'm interested because this could potentially be the future NBA championship. I mean, I think the Rockets got something to say about that, and LeBron's going to come with something heavy. Absolutely.
So you can't discount anybody in the NBA, but in my eyes, I think Golden State and Boston are going to represent the East and the West. That's on Saturday, January 27th. It's an ABC start, so it's probably like a 8:27 tip-off or 8:30, whatever it is. I don't know, I'll be in bed. I got a 5-month-old. I need my sleep.
Shout out, Dom.
Oh, Dominator.
Shout out, Michelle.
Shout out my wife. I had a great brunch yesterday as well with my brother and your sister.
Shout out, family.
Shout out, family. We had some guest appearances by Nico,
Penelope,
and Dominic. A little Sunday brunch for the family.
Oh, that's a good day.
Mimosas all around.
That's a good day.
It was a great day.
That's a good day. All right. Well, listen. Golden State versus Boston and Ant. Can you tell the people when that game's going to occur?
Saturday, January 27th, ABC. I want to say it's an 8:30 start.
All right.
I could be wrong. 8 o'clock. Check your local listings.
Make sure you're there to watch it. Hopefully it's a little bit of a better pick than the 31-point drubbing that the Eagles put on the Vikings that Ant really told you to lock into last week. I'm going to go to a different place. I'm going to go to the ice. All right. I'm going inside the rink. Because I love hockey and I love my New Jersey Devils, who sit at second place in the Metropolitan Division at 24-13-8. They got 56 points on the year.
That's a tight division, if I'm not wrong.
Very tight division between Washington, New Jersey, Columbus, and Philly. They're all separated by about 6 or 7 total points. The Rangers in there, the Pittsburgh Penguins in there, the New York Islanders. Between 9 points separates those teams, the Islanders, Washington, and those teams in between. So that's why I'm going to take January 25th. The Predators are playing the Devils. And the Nashville Predators, who somebody you saw last year make a really great run in the playoffs, do something their franchise never seen them go to the Stanley Cup last year, which was awesome. The Nashville Predators are a team that's staying on the rise right now. They're sitting in second place in the Central and the Western Conference. They are a team that is a serious contender this year, third place overall in the Western Conference. So the Devils versus the Predators on the 25th of January, I think, is a game that people need to watch. And if you're not a big hockey fan out there, I suggest you start watching because it is a fun game and it's an exciting game and it's a moving game, especially if you're a basketball fan and you love the consistent flow of what basketball brings. So just to recap the What Do You Got, my partner takes Golden State versus Boston on the 27th of January, and Andrew, myself, takes the Devils versus the Predators on January 25th. Okay, round 2. I need a player. Anthony, what do you got?
What do you got?
I'm actually going to cheat and give you multiple players because I'm just so generous.
What?
And I really can't make my mind up. But I want to watch the backcourt matchup.
I
want to watch the backcourt matchup.
That's not how this thing works.
Sure it does.
That's not how this thing works.
I want to watch the initial matchup of Golden State and Boston, that backcourt.
So you want Kyrie versus Steph?
I want to see that as well, but you don't count the Splash Brothers because Clay just kind of stays out, lies in the weeds there because you had Durant there, you had Steph Curry there, doing all these heydays, picking the All-Star game because he's the captain.
So
man.
just to confirm, Anthony's not picking a player; he's picking 30 guys.
30.
So
I'm
he's
taking
choosing
the
the
whole
Golden
NBA.
State Warriors and the Boston Celtics.
It's really just 4 guys. It's the front court. It's the backcourt of Boston, which really is a mess. Besides Kyrie Irving, Coach Brad Stevens over there, he's throwing sheets in the wind here. He's trying Jaylen Brown at the position. He's got that Smart fella there, Marcus Smart, I believe his name is. That dude plays hard
You're right.
defense. He gets in your grill, plays defense.
Yes, he does.
But Boston actually hasn't been jiving at that position. And when Kyrie goes down, because inevitably he's gonna miss a few games. I mean, look what happened in Philadelphia. They didn't get steamrolled by Philly, but trust the process.
Yeah,
The Sixers beat them.
I agree.
So I'm interested to see that backcourt and how it's gonna grow and through the All-Star break. Everybody in the NBA loves that All-Star break. They go away. Most players, whoever's not around, get that rest, do what you got to do. Probably go with Odell on a boat in Miami somewhere. And
Odell's really good at vacations.
he's killing the vacation game. And,
All right.
That's what I got. I know it's
Celtics backcourt versus Golden State backcourt, and that's fair because in the end, it's something that we want.
and it's our show. We can make up our own damn rules.
We can make up our own damn rules, and we want you to watch it. So Anthony's going to give it to you. All right, 2 solid picks from my partner. I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to stay in the same game. I think that's fair. I think that makes it a little bit better. But I'm obviously going to stay with my hometown team, with the New Jersey Devils. And since you're not picking a player, you're picking a scenario or a matchup in the game. I'm going to stick that path with you, and I'm going to go with the penalty kill of the New Jersey Devils versus the power play of the Nashville Predators. That, to me, I think is going to be an interesting matchup in this game. The New Jersey Devils are 6th in the NHL in penalty kill. And I think one of the most important things to any hockey team being a top team in the NHL is when you get down, how do you take advantage? And when you get up, how do you take advantage? And the Devils on the special teams this year are 6th in power play and 6th in penalty kill. So the special teams for them has been something that's kind of helped push them through this season. They slid a little bit in the last few weeks. They had lost 4 in a row, then they won 2, and they got drubbed by Philly. Then they won 1, then they lost 1 again to Philly. So it's kind of been a little up and down for them. But I'm looking at that power play and the penalty kill, the special teams for the New Jersey Devils. And then because Nashville is such a high-power team and they have guys that can really score, they're 4th in the NHL in power play and they're 11th in penalty kill. So that matchup to me, but to be specific,
4 versus 6, someone's got to crack.
4 power play in Nashville versus 6 penalty kill in the New Jersey Devils. That's the performance I want you people to watch out there. This has been What Do You Got? That's sponsored by Hawthorne Glass. Tweet us, Instagram us, Twitter, Coach Romo24, Instagram, ARomes24, my man AM Rinaldi and AM Rinaldi5 on the Twitter and AM Rinaldi on the Instagram. We are Double A Balls. And before we get out of here, talk to the people, give them the last thing you got.
Enjoy your week. Don't work too hard. And let's get ready for Super Bowl. I mean, Philadelphia versus New England.
I'm excited.
Round 2. Let's go.
We'll have a full preview of that next week. Hopefully, we'll be able to...
Sorry to interrupt you, Andrew, but I think we should have a special guest on our 3rd ever podcast.
Who?
Somebody with a little bit of Philadelphia blood running through their veins.
So you want a Philly guy through and through.
Philly guy through and through.
It seems like you have somebody in mind.
I've heard there's a Philly fan in your family now.
Sean O'Neal. I love it.
Get on the podcast, Sean O'Neal.
Shout out Sean O'Neal and the Philadelphia Eagles on the podcast, Double A Balls, next week with Romanella and Rinaldi. If you're up to the task, Sean, if you want to come in here, give us your Eagles insight, talk to us about the importance of this Super Bowl, and maybe give us some predictions. What do you got with us? You know what I'm saying?
It's got to be a What Do You Got Super Bowl edition.
Be here. Listen, we thank you for listening. Spread the word on the podcast. Let the people know we're Double A Balls. I'm Romanella for my partner Rinaldi. Peace out. We love you. Double A Balls out.
Easy to dream a dream, though it's harder to live. They gon' love me for my